Hi, I'm Fred Sokolow, and we're going to be talking about blues turnarounds. I guess you would ask the question, what is a blues turnaround and how do you play them? So a blues turnaround usually happens in the last two bars of a tune. It's a little phrase that kind of completes the 8 or 12 bar blues. If you counted out the last 4 bars of a typical blues, they'd go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, and here's the turnaround. So typically they start on the second beat of the bar where you come back to the 1 chord. That was a blues, part of a blues in E. As soon as I came back to the E, I played the E and then played the turnaround. And that's one of the most common blues turnarounds right there, where you take a D7 shape and move it up 2 frets and just walk it down and then come back to E and then B7. You can break it up. And in fact, there's a million variations of that. You could do it on just the 3rd and 2nd strings. Or this. And here's a completely different blues turnaround in E. Then there's rockabilly variations like Carl Perkins or Buddy Holly. Well, that's a bunch of E blues turnarounds, but of course there's other keys. Let's go with the key of A. So the most simple turnaround, it would be just like this. Strumming the chords, but here's a really cool turnaround that Mance Lipscomb did. It goes. So if we put that in context, he'd be going, come back, baby, let's talk it over one more time. I think that's a really nice one. In the key of D, one thing you can do is walk up, like just walking up on the bass. In the key of G, here's a classic turnaround that Robert Johnson did on a lot of tunes. You hold this G note on top and walk down on the 4th string. He did that in Love in Vain and a bunch of other tunes. Now that I think of it, he made that movable sometimes by coming up, like in the key of E, you'd go, and then E7. So in G, of course, you could also do some kind of a bass line. And then in the key of C, well, there's a typical turnaround that walks down where you have a descending note. You go to C to C7 to F minor and back to C and then G7. See, that gives you this descending line. So the turnaround is. And if it's slow, you can go. Fast would be. There's a similar one in E that I didn't mention where you go. So that's going from E to E7 to A to A minor and then back to E and B7. So you have this descending line. All of these can be real slow, and they can also be fast, and they have completely different character when you change the tempo. Of course, in E, there's just that boogie-woogie thing on the top 2 strings. Now, these are all first position, open type of chords that we're dealing with, but there's also movable turnarounds, and the simplest one is similar to the first one I showed you, where you move up that D7 shape. You're in the key of E and you go, and you do this business. Well, if you played an F, you could do the same turnaround just a fret higher. And of course you can break it up the same way you did in E. And since that's involves no open strings, you could put it anywhere. You could do it in the key of B flat. Here's a B flat chord, the F shape up at the 6th fret. Which probably reminds you of the Jimi Hendrix beginning of Red House, which is based on the same kind of idea. So that's a turnaround you can do in almost any key. So we've covered about 5 keys in a movable thing. That'll get you started playing blues turnarounds, and you can make up your own as well.